Hello and welcome, everyone. We're in Sea of Thieves. Setting sail on the sloop I have purchased. I'm excited. I loaded it up to go ahead and buy all 3 ships. Because you can buy 1 sloop, 1 galleon, or 1 sloop, 1 brig, and 1 galleon. And I don't know. I think you can have up to 3 ships. You might be able to buy more than 1 of the same type after you get a legendary ship title. I saw something about, because I purchased a sloop and it said something like can't purchase another one until, so it made it sound like you could get another of the same type. But I just went ahead and bought 1 of each. Hello, Wapald. How are you? I announced it on my Discord already. But my ships are, my galleon is Jefferson Starship. My brigantine is the Red October. And my sloop is the Schoon Hound. So, yes. I did load it up long enough to just sort of fool around in it. And they gave you a free, like, Captain Voyage. But I couldn't place it. I couldn't vote on it or anything. So I just said forget it and I backed out. So hopefully that won't throw everything out of whack. So the bookshelf they've been working on here, that's on the screen, or was there for a second. The bookshelf houses all of your... yes, Tabitha, the Schoon Hound. It houses all of your Captain Voyages. There are voyages for the Gold Hoarders, the Merchant Alliance, the Order of Souls. There are Mercenary Voyages and Athena's Fortune Voyages. But there's also the Sovereigns, which is a new faction. I don't think they do anything except give you a place to turn in all of your treasure. Literally everything. You turn it all in there. And they'll deliver it for you, and they don't even take a cut of the profit. They've got like an elevator and a couple of harpoons, so you can just throw all your loot on the deck and have your buddy jump off and load up and just start harpooning it all. You know, and you can all work together hurling it on there. It's exciting. I saw something earlier today about people having trouble getting, like, people having issues with gold. Not really linking with their account properly. I don't know. Now, they did add new emissary rewards. So, originally, they just did, like, the pieces of the ships. So, the Merchant Alliance ships that I've been sailing around with was the reward for getting to the top in the emissary rankings each month. Or, you know, yeah, each period that they did that. You can still earn it, you just have to wait for the period to close out before you unlock the next thing. So, they did weapons. So, actually, I need to check my weapons. Oh, this is cool. Got my spyglass. Never mind. Somebody's doing an Athena tornado. So, if you see another ship and you hit it with your spyglass, it will tell you the ship's name if it's a captained ship. And the captain as well. So I think once I jump on board my ship... there she is! The Schoon Hound! Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. There it is. The Schoon Hound, captained by raging fire. Oh, wait. Yes! And you can store 50 Captain's Voyages. I bought this one just to do it. I didn't buy any Order of Souls. I bought several of these. I bought Legendary Fortune, Ashen Fortune, and the Ancient Veil. But you can now go to the shipwright.
Not again.
So you can browse her stock like normal. You can buy ship customizations, which are just, you know, like the... yeah, those are the specific new captain's voyages. They're only ones that you can access if you're a captain and own a ship. So you go to ship customization in the shipwright shop, and you can buy the individual like cannons and wheels and all that stuff. If you go to ship decorations, you can buy new captain's tables, drapes, beds, rugs, captain's chair if you are sailing a galleon. But there's new classes and all sorts of stuff. I'll go over those in a second. Let's see. So it's just a bunch of stuff here. Chandeliers. Some of the stuff is only equipable on a galleon. But you got all kinds of options. And then the last thing that she offers in in her ship shop are trinkets. And so there's specific trophies. So you get the Grace Under Fire one by reaching class 10 in the Devil's Roar Voyage quest completed. And then you get 20, you get a different one, 50, 100. And they get more and more ornate as it goes through. And then there's ornaments, which are just things you can stick on the boat just about anywhere. There's all kinds of stuff. Little chests, a little plant, some crystals, just an extra wheel if you like a carved parrot. You can get a hat rack.
Working here is so
But if you go to the supply, so there's she's got all the voyages. So you can get a basic one, level 25 with the gold hoarders, a bundle of those. You can get those are for treasure hunts, X marks the spots, and one for riddle maps. And then I think it's a bundle. I think it's both kinds. But then they go all the way up to level 50. And so same thing for Merchant Alliance, but more importantly, you can buy planks, cannonballs, throwables, fruit, meat, and bait all here. And I believe it's all tied with your ship.
Later, I suppose.
You can... So I'm going to go ahead and equip the ship set I like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you this too. Where is my figurehead? There it is. So I can equip it, or I can save the item to the ship. I think so. Once you... Yes and no. I think once you purchase the item, you have it, but you can't use it on your ship until you hit a specific class. I don't know if it's saved per boat or if it goes across multiple ships. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm still, looking into all of it, so I don't know all of it. The green and gold thing to my left. When was that? Which green and gold thing? What did it look like? Hold on. My wife is shouting at me, "Go back to this thing!" That's the Tribute Peak figurehead. That was from getting the... I'm not equipping that one. I've got the Merchant Ambassador. It fits with my ship set. If I was doing gold hoarder stuff, I'd probably do that, my dear. But I'm not, so... It's my ship! I do what I want. The Notorious Reaper cannons. Where's my Merchant Ambassador cannons? I missed them. There they are. You only get half of it. I heard you laughing in the other room. Those of you who are unaware, Tender Love and Ham is my wife. Okay, so we're there. I need to check to see if there's any Reapers. And I'm flying solo tonight. I asked several people if I was going to be joined by anyone. There are no Reapers on the seas. Now what I don't know is... I didn't want offers.
Take care,
I want
dear.
resources. And commodities. I don't know if I buy one of these and then at the end of my voyage just dump the crate in the ship. I don't know how your ship inventory works. Like because as far as I'm aware, your supplies carry over. She gets the bottom half of the figurehead. No, actually, so the ship is split in half down the middle. It's exactly down the middle. So she can have the left half. I get the right half. That's what a good cannon is. She doesn't use that anyway.
Hello, my lovely.
I was gonna say it's split down the middle, horizontally instead of split where the mast is, but I changed my mind on that. You'll take the front? No, you can't have that. You get the left half of the ship. You don't get the front half. What am I doing? You can't. I didn't see dibs. And that's not how we're dividing the ship. She's shouting things at me from across the apartment. So if you can't hear her, it's because she's not on a microphone. She's literally just shouting at me. She's yelling shotgun. It's a good thing I love my wife. And I read somewhere, I think supplies are tied to it too? Oh. But I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm going to do one of these standard Merchant Alliance quests. I'm going to do one of the quests I've been doing. Because they are so worthwhile, I can't really not do them. There's going to be a lot of that happening for a minute, because it's very early in the season. So it's just going to be throwing renown at me for doing nothing. You can hear her yelling? Oh my god, bold. No, she doesn't get 50% say in all designing decisions because it's all of my gold. I earned it all. I'd like to see her load up her character and spend my gold. Doesn't work. No. Now if I'm using real money to buy the ship cosmetics, then she gets a 50% stake. But if I'm using in-game money, no. Is that fair? I think that's fair. I don't know what she thinks about it. Because she's not responding in my chat. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'll password lock my account. Don't you think I won't? I'll change the login password on my computer tonight. If I get a whiff of any of that going on. I know you would never. Good. I can hear her in the other room. I forgot your login. It's like, I'll believe it when I see it. Why did I walk all the way around like a fool? It's much faster to use the ladder. I do want to go check out these sovereigns. Are there like Reaper sovereigns that hang out like, oh, I forgot about that. Can I do it with these? Are these up for grabs? No. There are literally stools around islands that you can pick up and carry with you. So you can take photos on mountaintops and stuff. Oh my god, Tabitha. It's a good thing I love you. Because you're crazy. That's okay. It makes life way more interesting. Because I certainly am not all the way sane either. Hey, if we each drive each other up the wall, then at least we're together up the wall. What am I doing right now? Well, I'm loading supplies onto the ship. But I wanted to see something. Let's see. 20 cannonballs in each one. Let's see what happens if I buy a cannonball supply from the shipwright.
Not again.
Ugh. Ugh. Not again. I think there's 15 planks on the ship, so I'll buy a wood supply. Cannonball supply. Can I buy meat and sell it? Is that a thing I can do? Buying bait is awesome. Alright, cannonballs. How many did I get? Okay, I got 30 more cannonballs. And I have 45 wood planks now. Well, he really won't get this up, so I guess you guys are battling. Why are you standing so close to me? What's your name? They call me Flips White Fudge. Bob's like, why do they call you that?
Hello, dearie. Aww.
Give me that. Alright, McGrath, oh great wrath. Now I just hope you don't send me into the middle of that skeleton fleet. That'll be problematic. Alright, Schoon Hound. Let's roll. You know what? I'll get my hound out. He's not a hound, but they don't have hounds, I don't think. So, it's not a captaincy. Oh, and there's this here, the captain's logbook. It tells me, the Schoon Hound has earned 0 gold, has spent no days at sea, has visited 0 islands, has sailed 0 nautical miles. I've earned 0 gold, no voyage quests completed, and I have spotted 0 captain ships. So it just sort of lists everything. And the Reapers can totally scoop up your captain's log when they sink you and sell it. Which is interesting. Let's go ahead and vote for my voyage. I'll do a standard non-captaincy voyage first. Oh, so there's equipment, pirate's log, the ship's log, which gives you milestones. So there's different classes. There's the Voyager, the Gold Seeker, the Emissary, the Hunter, the Rogue, the Ill-Fated, which is just take damage and basically sink. There's each one has a different. They all have different stuff associated with them. And your quests and the adventures, which the next adventure begins in 2 weeks, which is exciting. Okay, so I think just anything you do, I love seeing the Schoon Hound right there. It's so good. I love it. From Devil's Ridge. Oh, okay. To the finest trading post? Is that it? Okay. And we go like so. We go here. Here. Right. We go over Mutineer, in between. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I need to head south and some west. I can't see it, so we'll turn the ship around. And I can't find a Kraken. Doesn't work like that. The Kraken only spawns when there's no world event happening. Uh-oh. Let's raise the sails a bit and get a turn. Maybe I can get there and change my flag fast enough. It looks like it's... Nope, turning too fast. So if I see another captain's ship, I can look at him with my spyglass, and it will... I'm sure it will play like a musical tone to indicate that I have, in fact, seen another captain, like it does with emissary ships. And, it will tell me the ship's name and the captain. I hear Tabitha on the phone. If you can still hear her, please let me know, and I'll close the door. She moved, I think. There were a couple of names. I'm on the Rogue Legends Discord, which is... It's a pretty popular Sea of Thieves Discord. I think they're like linked as a community on the Sea of Thieves community Discord. I think. There's a lot of people in it. And they're all crazy. But one of them actually named their... I think they said one of their ship names was the Kraken's Casket. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. People seem to like the Schoon Hound. I want to thank Bob's Burgers for that one. It wasn't a... Maybe there's not any birds. Maybe it's actually on Devil's Ridge, which is odd. Oh, nope, there they are. I think that's them. That's a ways off, though. That one's shooting at me. I don't much care for it. Ooh, I'm sore. It's been a day. I spent the first 4.5 hours at work today. So the first half of my day plus a little more. Ripping an apartment completely apart. Like, straight up gutting it. This one resident has had a leak in their bedroom. Which sounds crazy, I know, but there was water getting into their bedroom. They're in a basement unit. We were pretty sure it was coming from his condensate. So, because he's in a basement unit, and the air handler... Oh, I was very... Thankfully, he had the air conditioner running in the apartment. He didn't have it running yesterday when we went to go look at it the first time. we've been, so this was the first time we had seen it in a little while, because he put in a work order on Monday and said that it was, it was leaking again, and we'd been in there, we went there Friday and worked on it, and we thought we worked it, or we thought we fixed it. And then I saw him on, I saw he had put in a work order on Monday about the leak is still there. So we went to go look at it. We thought we completely redid the upstairs condensation drain for his neighbor's air conditioner, and we were like, okay, that fixed it. And then he went to the office on Tuesday, the next day, and said it's happening still. He said it's still happening. And we're like, okay. Or the office said, okay, sure. He said I've been talking to Mr. Cameron about it. He's been the one coming in and working on it. And I said, okay, well, we'll let him know what's going on. Wednesday, he comes pulling up to the office, and I'm walking out of the like employee side where we go to check work orders and get keys and stuff like that. And he's like waving at me and gesturing me towards him. It's like, okay. I was just gonna go say hi. I was like, hey, how's it going? What's up? He said, it's still happening. I was like, what? He said, I told the office yesterday. Did nobody tell you? I said, no. Nobody put in a work order for it at all. Like, nobody told me it's going on. I was like, I'll be there as soon as I can to look at it. And then we got a bunch of like air conditioning calls and leaks and all kinds of stuff happening. So I didn't have a chance. And because there was no work order, I've just forgot. And so yesterday at like 4:45, we were checking, somebody put in a work order that their toilet was leaking. We were like, okay. We went to go look at the toilet. Turns out the resident stated that when they go to the bathroom, when they go to pee, sometimes there's water between the tank and the seat. I'm like, that's just you peeing on the seat. Wipe it up. The toilet's not leaking. It's not how that works. And while we're standing outside, it's like, oh no, I forgot. We need to go see this guy about that leak. And the other guy I work with is like, oh my god, you're right. We totally forgot about that. So we go over there and we look at it. It's worse than it's the worst I've seen it. It was so bad. Like, he had gallons of water in his carpet. It's just like, oh my, are you kidding me? He said, I told them about it. I said, no, I know, it's not your fault. I said, don't worry. This is unacceptable. We will be here tomorrow. I was like, because it can't get any worse now. It's already just completely shredded. I was like, we'll be here first thing in the morning, and we will. If we have to be here all day, we will fix this problem for you. As he's a super nice man. Thank God he was very understanding. It's like, I know you guys are checking in on me, because he didn't even put in once or twice. He hadn't even put in a work order yet, and I was just like waving at him because I saw him outside his apartment, and I asked him, if we'd fixed it, if everything was still good, if there were any problems. Just trying to follow up. I take pride in my work. I want to make sure everything is done correctly and it's working properly. I don't want anybody to have to live without. And this guy hadn't been running his air conditioner because he was afraid that water was coming from his AC. And because originally the problem was the condensate pump was tripping. He had a GFCI, a ground fault circuit interrupter outlet, which is one that if it gets water in it, or there's like a problem with anything, it trips it. It's got its own little circuit breaker on it, and it pops that out and breaks the connections. That way, like, you can't cook yourself to death with a toaster, or don't start a fire. It's just it's a special protection thing they put on there. Then there's actually two kinds. There's a GFCI, which is a ground fault circuit interruption, and then there's an AFCI, which is an arc fault. And arc faults are designed to protect equipment, and ground faults are designed to protect people. Fun fact. So his condensate drain, or his condensate pump, because he's in the basement and the unit's in the middle, his pump was going bad. It just kept blowing that. We had to keep hitting the reset button on his outlet. We were like, just keep, if it happens again, just do this. Just press this button. I was like, we'll order you a new pump, and that'll fix the problem. Thankfully, the new pump came in like 2 days later, and it started getting better, and then it got worse. So that's when we were like, there's something else going on. We went upstairs to try to figure out what the issue was. And turns out, when we repaired his condensation line, it didn't actually fix it. Because the line kind of bound up a little bit, we made it a little bit worse. But his... If you don't know, an air conditioning system is made up of 2 parts. There's a condenser, which is the outside unit, that actually generates the cool. What it does is that it runs the refrigerant through a compressor, and it gets it down to a real low freezing point. It's cold. And it pumps it up into the air handler, or the indoor unit. And what it does there is it runs the refrigerant through some fins, and it basically works just like a heat sink. But the hot air runs across the fins and cools, and then it pulls that air through your vents. And then the refrigerant that is now hot and boiling, because it has a very, it's a low boiling point, is now getting pumped back outside to the condenser. And then it sinks all of that heat into the atmosphere, and it goes again. Well, doing that naturally generates water. And so the coil that actually keeps the water, or that actually cools the air, gets condensation. And it builds up and it runs down off the coil into a condensate pan. And that water has to drain out somewhere. So usually what it is your air handler sits standing up. Hold on. Got phantoms. Don't you shoot me. And so generally, the coil is going to be sitting straight up and down. Sometimes they're an A-frame, but they're always lined up with the line set coming into the air handler and going into the coil. And the condensate pan is actually tilted slightly, so that way as water collects, it runs to the drain. So if the drain is on this side of the air handler, the guy above him, his air handler was sitting like this. So as it generates water, it runs backwards away from the drain and was running over the back and dripping down into his apartment. And it has been happening for a long time. A long time. Whoever was there before us, somebody found out there was a problem, and they took a big trash can lid and set it behind the air handler to collect water. That way it wouldn't get on the floor. And it got so bad it actually tore down, like the water tore up some of the drywall that was in the ceiling. That had just completely collapsed. There was a lot of organic growth on the walls. I mean, I'm talking, there was a mushroom growing out of his drywall behind that air handler. And that's none of this is this guy's fault. You can't get back there to clean that. You'd have to be a contortionist and be itty bitty, teeny tiny to fit back there. Or you'd have to cut a hole in the wall. No, I don't even want that. Go away. Or you know what? Maybe because I can just turn it all in at the Sovereigns, it won't matter. We've got some special cleaner. It's called Moldex. It kills and inhibits mold growth. We must have put 4 bottles of this stuff in this guy's apartment. We've had crews come out. We've scheduled crews to come out and totally just wipe all this stuff clean. It is, I mean, it's been a whole thing. Booty aisle. No, not at all. It's very not good. I I called my supervisor when we went to look at it the first time, or when we went to look at it yesterday. I was like, you need to come look at this. Or I told her, I was like, well, me and the other guy both told her, you need to come look at this. We are going to spend all day on this if we have to. We are going to make this right for this man, because it's not healthy. It's just not good at all. What is that? Is that Reapers? No. He was very unhappy. He was very patient and you know, nice to me, because I've been there working on it and dealing with it and trying to take care of him and make sure everything's good, but he was not happy with our office staff, because he was like, I told them this was a problem and they didn't tell you. He was like, that's okay, Wipold, you have a good night. He said, and I know they didn't tell you because you would have been here. I'm like, yep. A ship sank right here. Like a player's ship. Yeah. I was like, I mean, I'm surprised you're not more upset with us right now. No, it's a mysterious vessel. I don't want that. I will take this crate of volcanic stone, though. I don't know how he's been dealing with that, but it has been going on for a very long time. He knew a little bit of it was happening because he had some stuff that he had pulled away from the walls. You could tell, you know, like when you get water on the floor and you want to keep your stuff safe, you kind of pull it away a little bit. But he had given up on doing that after a little while. So he knew a little bit. He had no idea how bad it was, though. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing he didn't see it. Because we're able to take care of it and just get it all sorted out. I hate that it came to that, though. We had to take the door off. It's a one-bedroom apartment. It's just him in it. He's very understanding. He was like, I said, we're going to have to just leave the door off the hinges. He said, that's fine. He's like, I get it, because it needs to be able to dry all this stuff out. And if the door closes, it's not going to get any airflow. I was like, you're absolutely right. That's why we have to do it that way. He's like, don't worry about it, because I'm actually not even going to be home this weekend. He said, he's going to visit his grandkids. So I was like, hey, so that works out. We can give it all the time we need. You don't have to be inconvenienced. He's like, yes, he's like, I hate that it happened, but at least it happened this week. Pick it up. Excuse me, snake. I'll put that there. It's not a captained ship. It looks like an alliance, or yeah, an alliance flag, and not an emissary flag. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this guy's whole bedroom, or not the whole bedroom. So the wall, probably a good 10 feet of wall. It's just stud. We've ripped down so much drywall. We cleared all that stuff out. I actually had to crawl into the area behind the air handler once we got it all. What's that? Oh, skeleton orders. Is there an item on this island? Hey, Crack Rock City. Thank you. I didn't know you were here. Well, thanks for dropping by. Have a good evening. Generous gift. Usually find that buried. There's one over here. I had derailed my train of thought. Right, so we went back there and we found a pipe that was like, what does this go to? So we had to cut out a big hole in his closet to figure it out. Turns out it was an old condensation drain. And somebody decided at some point to remove that and put in a condensate pump. This whole apartment has just been a list of questionable decisions from either previous management companies or previous maintenance technicians. This should be about here. What is that? Uh-oh. Another ship. Where did you go? Yeah, there's all sorts of issues. And the problem is, really, what it boils down to with a lot of this stuff is just people don't care. Either the management company doesn't care at all, and they give maintenance nothing to work with. They're like, okay, here's your budget. It's not enough for you to actually fix anything, so you're just gonna have to jerry-rig everything. You know, and then maintenance is like, we can't do that to these people. This is gonna get bad, and they just say, haha, don't care. Or the management company cares, and the maintenance techs they hire pretend they care, and then just do the absolute worst job possible. No, I mean, I'm making way more than I'm making more now than I did when I was running a GameStop. Like, I was a store manager, and I make more just being a low guy on the totem pole, fixing stuff. So, I mean, for me, I like working with my hands. I like doing this, and I really like when I can do stuff like I ended up helping that gentleman. You know, it took a minute to get to the point where we were actually helping him, but after we did, you know, we got him taken care of, and he's happy. That's my dog. I was like, what's coming now? Oh, you know what? It's up here. Yeah, absolutely. Well, see, and the company I work for, it's weird, because it's the first time I've dealt with this. The last place I worked, because when I lived in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I worked for Sealy, which is like, they're the big company that owns most of the apartments in the area. They actually spent money on maintaining their properties, which I'm not going to complain about. But they owned and operated all of their properties. So it's weird though, because the owners, I work for a property management company, but I also work for the owners, which is weird because it's like I work for two different people. Lookout point. So the owners, they were very willing to spend money to renovate the apartments, but by renovate, they bought new appliances, new light fixtures, new hardware like that, but they didn't really... That's like, a lot of the apartments had busted up electrical outlets, and it's difficult for us to test all of them, you know. It's not real hard because you can just get like it's basically, it looks like a plug. It's got lights on it. You plug it in and it tells you what's going on with the outlets. Problem is we don't have the time. We could check them. We didn't have the time to repair them all. I mean, hell, there was one point where they told us, plain and simple, that we were going to start focusing on getting quality apartments out for people to rent. And then the next day, they told us that we needed to get more quantity out. And we ended up having to turn 30 apartments in 18 days. It was supposed to be 30 days, but they told us that we were like 2 days into it, and, you know, that the weekends are not included in that time because we work Monday through Friday. I mean, like, we were supposed to have a full-time groundskeeper, and they took the groundskeeper that they were going to give us full-time and had her work at 2 other properties and split the time, you know, 2 days at those properties, 3 days at our property. And there was enough trash at our property to keep somebody busy all week. And we had 4 maintenance techs. We had the maintenance supervisor and 3 techs, including myself. So what we were doing, this was when we got the 30 apartments done in 18 days. We had 2 people turning apartments and 2 people going and doing work orders and maintaining the property. So it was easy to do that. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it was way easier to do then than it was now. Okay, the captain's key is here. Will you take that? Thank you. You know, and the worst is when you get office staff that just doesn't give 2 flips. Most of the only properties I've worked for have all used the Yardy systems stuff, and they Yardy doesn't give maintenance login information. Like, we cannot physically log into the computer and look up to see who lives in an apartment, look up work order history. I can't do any of that. An office person has to do it for me. And that includes pulling up work orders to actually go do. And so I've had people go like, well, one of the things that people would do, and they used to call the emergency line for, was if you got locked out of your apartment. You could call the emergency line and we could come let you in. But somebody decided that that was not a good idea, and I am glad they did, because since I can't log into the computer system, I don't know if you live there or not. It's literally just I roll up and you say I live here, and I say cool, and I unlock the door for you. Like, that's insane. Oh, I was hoping it meant I could place this here, and it goes on the floor. Cool. Hold on. Straight to the drop-off, which is behind me at the Finest Trading Post. Sort of northwest-ish. Do I see birds? There's some birds. It's exactly northwest. But yeah, but somebody wisened up and was like, ooh, maintenance can't look up that information. You can't go let people in apartments. It's like, thank God. And I did have one resident. All right, Paradise. Have a good night. Thanks for dropping by. I did have one night, a resident called me, or called the emergency line and said that they were unable to enter their apartment. And, you know, I was like, why? That's not an emergency. I can't let you in. So I called the resident, because it didn't say they were locked out. It said their door wouldn't let them in. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So I called the resident and asked them. And I said, okay, now, what exactly is the issue? And they said, well, I can't get into my apartment. I said, okay, I can't just let you in. They said, well, no, my key works. I just can't physically open the door. It's jammed. And I was like, okay. I was like, I just have to let you know that if I get there and the key does not work, I can't let you in. I said, but I'm coming. I live about 20 minutes away. I was like, I told her that. I was like, I live about 20 minutes away, so I'm not going to be able to get there real quick, but I'll get there as fast as I can. And she said, oh my God. Not like, I got there, and she said, I thought about this the whole time. I've been trying to get the door open because I didn't want you to have to drive that far. That's why I was like, oh my God, I don't want him to drive 20 minutes and it just be some quick, easy thing he can fix. And the screws had come loose on the doorknob, and they had jammed up the ones that hold the striker, that hold the plunger in place. They jammed up on the frame, and so she couldn't open it. I had to shoulder the door open and then repair it from there. I said, no, I'm glad you called. I did have one lady tell me that she had a water leak in her apartment. And I went over there to go do the water leak, like to suck up the water and all that. And she wasn't home. So I locked the door, and I left. She called me at midnight and said that I locked her out of her apartment. I have to come let her back in. I said, ma'am, I can't let you back in. She's like, what do you mean? You locked me out. I said, well, ma'am, I can't leave a door unlocked. I'm required to lock them if, when you weren't home, I had to lock the door. I can't leave an apartment unlocked with nobody in it. Because then, if I had left the apartment unlocked and somebody had robbed her blind, I would have gotten in trouble. Sometimes you can't win for losing. But we managed to fix that guy's, this whole roundabout thing. Managed to fix his leak. We stopped it. The guy upstairs, that leaky condensate pan, or the condensate pan going the wrong way. The other guy I work with, Cody, he physically laid down in the return and shoved shims, which are just like little wedges you use for holding stuff up, propping it open, or holding things together a little better. He got 6 shims and jammed them under the condensate pan to tilt it the right way, and we ran the condensate drain again. And doing that, all the water started flowing out of it nice and easy. It worked out pretty well. Get some air. You know, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to swim back to the ship. At least they put all that crap on top of the Sovereign sell point now, so it doesn't look like a ship parked. Go back to plunder back there as soon as we're done with this. Okay, I don't see any ships. Let me check to see if there's any Reapers. Negative. Oh, there's a grade 1 Reaper. We're sailing around Crook's Hollow, which is back. Where am I? I'm looking. Maybe I do need to look east and a little bit north from my location. I'm trying to see how big that ship is. Okay, they're sailing. North of the Fort of the Damned. They're sailing around Crook's Hollow, so I'm just trying to see. Oops, I thought I let go of the map. Trying to see what size ship it is, but I can't. It's too foggy. Okay. I just don't want to dive down and start grabbing my treasure and have somebody roll up on me and sink my ship while I'm not standing on it. You know what I mean? Ooh, there's a big boom keg. Normally I like to explore the whole ship and try to find all the extra bits, but with a Reaper ship somewhere in the vicinity, I'm just not going to do that. I know they're not close, but I'm afraid they'll see me in the distance and start sailing towards me, and I won't, and it'll be too late. I want to start securing my position to get the concertina and the drum. I don't really want either of those. I'd rather the hurdy-gurdy and the banjo. But to get those, I'm going to have the drum and the concertina. But the ambassador merchant said. One more. It's like, is that a skeleton ship? No, it's one of the forts. God, my whole left arm hurts. The shoulder, the bicep, the elbow, the wrist. Yanking down all that drywall. So the thing that they're supposed to be doing with these voyages, the captaincy voyages, is you can do long ones and you can do much shorter ones, depending on how much time you have to play the game. risque. I'll grab this and go. Let's sail straight for the sovereigns. Which this will be nice for islands where the like dagger tooth. Ugh. I like the outpost. I like the way it looks, and I like that everything is kind of laid out a specific way. But I hate how far you have to run to sell everything. Like even the Merchant Alliance, it's a haul. And usually the Merchant Alliance is the easiest one to do because you just pull up to the dock and you can sell. You know, I didn't even see if there's commendations for this season. Usually they do like a set of commendations and crap. I spent $1 million and some change buying all 3 ships and bits and pieces and baubles and such. Supplies. Okay, that is all of it. Bless you, DJ. You know, tonight I had probably the most viewers I've had on a Sea of Thieves stream in a while. And Wednesday, I had like 9 people watching me at one point when I was playing Icarus. What are they doing? Oh, they must be up there battling. I guess you guys are battling! I guess I'll know if I check the map and they're suddenly up a few points. Too far. Turn it back. I wonder how this works. Like, I wonder if they've got a slot where you can pull up and like, lower the elevator near your ship and you can just jump up there and throw everything in it, or... Stop that. We'll find out. Let's have a chat with the Sovereigns. See, I figured there would have been a whole separate faction. So you gotta earn rep with them. And then as you do that, you unlock more stuff for your ship. Just because it's a system they already have in place and it works. You know what I mean? I love it. I want to get a new nameplate. I don't know which one would go well with my Merchant Alliance setup. I'm surprised they didn't do... Like, you know what? I think... Come on, quickly. Come on, load. Load. I'm coming up on the outpost. I'll have to check in a minute. Once I learn what some folks have named their ships, like one of the other streamers I pay attention to, Lich. Once I find out what her ship is named, I won't have to be as cautious. I'll just be able to go, hey, look, it's this person. Bump the dock a little bit. Oh, you know what? First, nice. Got 10 grand for that. Use lever. Ah, so that raises the elevator. I see. I see how this works. Now you use the harpoon to fill the elevator. You hit the lever, you let your treasure come on down, and you sell it all to the sovereigns. Oh, this makes solo delivery easier. I just wanted to do this so I could get to grade 5. And it's very, you know, lucrative. And then I was going to do some captaincy, like one of the captain voyages. I'm glad I moved it all to the bowsprit. Now, the other thing this is going to do is it's going to allow people to just sort of... It's going to make people stick their treasure up front where everybody can see it. At least on the final leg of their journey, they'll start doing that. So you'll get a better sense if it's worth hitting somebody or not. I mean, especially since you can see if the ship is it's like a captain's ship. There you go, Clementine. This is so good. Yay! Okay, I didn't think so.
Looking to improve your pirate etiquette? I say.
Perish the thought.
Go on, off you pop.
Holy God. Okay. Nope. Whoops. Okay. What's up? It's Hunter. How are you? You go ahead and get that off my screen now. I canceled that voyage. Oof, I did not know what a commission was when I bought it. Good Lord. Okay, hold on.
Pirating problems? I'm listening.
Okay.
I hope I was helpful.
Ooh. Yeah, so I put down that commission, and it was 2 cargo runs, a standard shipping contract, and one of the, what's it called? One of the ones where you get the things. I bought several. Okay. Shipping contract. Merchant Alliance commission. So we're going to do a shipping contract. Oh, it's a bunch of pigs. 1 black-coated pig and 3 golden-striped pigs. Just doing a double gold. And on the double gold weekend, I did one of these, and they were worth like 10,000 gold. I was like, oh my goodness. So they're a little more worthwhile than I remember them being, especially with the whole emissary grade stuff. Let's see. Yep. I've seen plenty of those.
Scared? You should be.
I'm gonna buy a bunch of nanners.
Visit again, if you dare.
What's this, a haunted house? If you dare. Yeah, that's usually how it is. I'm pretty good. I'm tired. I do apartment maintenance in my real job, and it's been a week, but today especially, I spent the first half of my day gutting somebody's apartment, So, like, my whole left arm is killing me. Yeah. They had a water leak in their apartment, but it had been going on for a long time. But it was behind their indoor air conditioner, like the air handler part. And then they had no idea it was there because the previous, either a lazy maintenance tech in the past or, well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It was a lazy maintenance tech regardless of how it happened. But they, okay, that's a sea post. They, just stuck like a big trash can lid back there to catch the water instead of actually fixing the problem. So, I had to remedy that situation. It's all the way up here. Yeah, it was rough. There's like 350 units on our property. Not all, I mean, you know, we've got a fair chunk of them aren't occupied because they're renovating the property. They bought it, and it was definitely a fixer-upper. They've been trying to fix her up, but we ran into some issues. Mainly, it was personnel problems. I mean, the staff we had was really good. We had 4 of us. Hello, dear. We had 4 of us. We had our maintenance supervisor and... Oh, thank you. Okay, dear. My maintenance supervisor, who's a woman. I don't mean that. I don't mean anything by that. She's very good at her job. I'm in the middle of talking. You interrupted me mid-sentence. Anyway, she's very good at her job. But she does that because she's a woman in a line of work that is dominated by men. I can't say for certain that this is what it is, but this is what I think is happening. She does well. They thank her for doing well. And then they say, well, can you do this? And not wanting to say no and seem like she can't do the job, she takes on everything they ask her about like that. And so my wife actually, we got married in February, and right when we got married, the owner of the property I work at, he bought 2 other properties, and they're like right on top of each other. So the office staff, or when they bought that property right around then, they made my wife the property manager of those 2 communities. So they've got 2 offices, but 1 staff. They sort of split up between the 2 offices, and they took my maintenance supervisor and they made her basically a regional. They put her over my property and 2 others, the 2 that my wife runs. So it became an issue because they were short-staffed over there. It was just her and 1 other maintenance tech, and so she had to do basically the work of 2 people. And while she's doing the work of 2 people, the days that she was at those 2 properties, because she'd start the week at at my property and then go to the other two properties the next day and then come back and just swap every day like that. And so we went from having 4 people, 2 people doing like completely turning apartments so people can move in, and 2 people doing work orders. It went to 1 person doing work orders and 2 people turning apartments. And so we ended up just getting to the point where we were just doing 2 of us. We were splitting it up, trying our best to get it all done. There's chickens on Thieves Haven. Is it pigs and chickens? Hold on, I gotta look it up. I forget what critters are where. So it became a whole thing. Because one of the techs left. So every day of the week at my property, yeah. I mean, it gets worse because the 3 of us that were running everything, 1 guy quit. Because we went from doing, when she was in the rotation, we would go on call. And when we're on call, the way we do it is Monday. So, like, actually, Monday I go on call. So I'm on call from Monday until the next Monday for 24 hours a day for a whole week. So if there's any kind of emergency, I have to drop what I'm doing. I have to go to the property, which is 20 minutes away. You know, it's not too terrible. We've been keeping the property up, so it's been going pretty well. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there's pigs there. Good. I thought I saw pigs when I sailed by there earlier. I just wanted to double check. I don't want to sail to an island and have it no good. So one of the guys, he was a little older, but he was having some family issues, and he could not spend the time that he needed to at the property. Just they were running him ragged, and he couldn't do it all. So he quit. Now and then, so we went from doing on call every 4 weeks originally to now they've taken the maintenance supervisor off call. So now we're on call every 3rd week. And now the last one of the other guys has quit. So now it's every other week we're on call. And then they hired us a groundskeeper, but they stuck her on the same, like, you're here one day and they're the next day. But she didn't really do much work. I hate to say it. She was young. She started off excited and wanting to learn how to do all this stuff, but she wanted to learn all that instead of, like, pick up garbage that people just throw on the ground at an apartment complex because they don't care. And it got to the point where I'd call her and ask her for something, and she's like, I just got to the shop. Okay, you just got to the shop. No, you've been sitting out there for an hour and a half on your phone on one of the golf carts, pretending like you've been doing stuff. But that's neither here nor there. It just, they've been running us ragged. And I'm tired. I'm dealing with it. They're hiring some new people, but they're going to be part-timers. Because they'll be full-time, but they're going to split them between... They're hiring more maintenance techs, but they're going to split them between the 2 properties. So we're getting half a person. I don't know how it's all supposed to work. It's crazy. There be chickens. Okay, oops. There's a Fort of Fortune. Oh, you should have heard me talking about... I spent probably the first 40 minutes talking about what I did in that apartment with that air handler. Or with the water leak. Tough. I went. Because, I mean, it was a day and a half. Doing all that stuff. Regular pig. I don't want regular pigs. I want a black pig and 3 golden striped ones. No, I totally get that. Try explaining how to repair an air conditioner to folks like that. It gets to be a lot real fast. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done talking about this. You've clearly shifted your focus to something else. Let's see, fun maintenance stories. Oh! We had a clogged tub. It was an apartment that nobody lived in. So a bathtub was clogged. After somebody moved out, it got clogged up, or it was clogged when they moved out, and they just didn't tell us about it. You know, stuff like that happens. So we put drain opener in it, and we use a company called Zepp. Makes these things called heat crystals. It's just drain opener. You pour it in there, you add cold water, and it roils and boils and eats away. And it gets hot. It's an acid that gets hot, so it can like melt away grease and clear clogged lines. Where are all the damn pigs? But on drains that are stubborn, we have the stuff called Buster Drain Opener. It comes in quart bottles. That's as big as you can get it, as far as I'm aware. And what it is it's concentrated sulfuric acid. It's the kind of stuff that eats eyeballs and flesh. It's rough. Oh, here, pig. Pig? Pig? Golden stripe pig? Where'd you go? Aha. Suey, piggy! Oh, that's a black speckled pig. So the concentrated sulfuric acid is a rough thing. It's you gotta be careful with it. It will tear you apart. So we used the regular crystals on the tub, and nothing happened. It boiled its thing. It wouldn't go down. So we tried to run more water and plunge it through. We could get the water to move. Like we could, instead of it just being garbage water filling the tub, we could force some of it out. So we forced out as much as we could that had the like heat crystals on it. And because you don't want to mix two things, not anything like that. You'll get real bad results. I did it once, and I had the stuff splash back, and I saw it. I heard it coming, so I'd like dove out of the way, and it splashed all the way up to the ceiling and fell on my pants leg, and it chewed a hole in my pants. And then when I washed my pants later, it looked like somebody had shot me with birdshot. So, it's mean, is what it is. I go in the apartment a little while after that. Somebody else had hit it with the stuff. So I came at it with the Buster. Well, I take the overflow plate off, which is just that silver piece that sits in the middle of the tub, up on the wall. So that way, if you, oh yeah, it's definitely a fun drink if you want to die, because it ain't gonna play around with you. It's just gonna kill you. Is what it'll do. I know you were joking, but we go through with this stuff. I take the overflow plate off, and I take the bottle and I start pouring it, and I pull my hand back after I pour some in, and a fog cloud comes rolling out of the overflow plate. And the fog is, oh, that's just a black pig. Do I need a speckled pig? No, just a black-coated pig. A fog came rolling out of it, and it was Cheeto dust orange. And that's the exact color it was. Right, no, I totally get that. understand that. So the I saw the cloud come rolling out. I went, uh-oh, and I backed up, and it's the like sliding glass shower doors. I slid them closed. I walked out of the room and closed the door. I was like, nobody go in there. They're like, what? I was like, there's a Cheeto dust fog cloud coming out. They're like, what? Somebody opened the door, and they're like, it's orange in there. Twitch is very sensitive to a lot. Since when did the internet get so sensitive about everything? Ooh, come here. I gotta go back and I gotta feed the pig some nanners. Ugh. I don't really want to take the elevator. Right. Back in my day, the stuff people said on Xbox Live. Oh my word. There, your speckled pig. That's probably all the pigs I'm going to get out of Thieves Haven. I'm going to have to go somewhere else. Go to Devil's Ridge. There's that same pink pig. Are you sitting down screaming? Did you starve to death? No, you're okay for now. Maybe they've nerfed that. Where am I even supposed to take my Piggly Wigglies? To Ancient Spire Outpost. I had a work order yesterday somebody put in. They were complaining that their toilet was leaking around the screws. Cannot feed black-coated pig with golden striped pig. Do you mean the pigs can't be cannibals? I had way more bananas than I thought. Go to Devil's Ridge. Hopefully I can find what I need there. Forgot what I was saying. Right, about I said it was leaking from around the screws at the bottom of the toilet. And so when you think that, I'm thinking somebody's talking about the flange bolts, the ones that hold the toilet to the flange and have like sit on the floor. Oh yeah, so it's I worked retail for 10 years, so I can deal with it. And I don't have to deal with people as much as you'd think. Most of the time, people put in a work order and they're gone at work. That happens while I'm at work. So for the most part, people aren't there. So that helps a lot. Now, you do run into problems where you're around a bunch of people who just don't work. Ever. And you have to go in their apartments and they're literally always home. That's irritating, especially when they act like they know your job better than you do when it's clear they've never really worked a day in their lives. But then you get people who are home all the time because they work third shift. And, you know, they're sleeping when I'm trying to get in their apartment. You know, I hate bothering people when that kind of stuff's going on. You're just trying to do your job. And your job happens to happen late at night. You know, you can't control, you can't really control that sometimes. Make good money, you're gonna have to work late at night sometimes. Oh well. It's not a pleasant thing, but it was nice at another property I worked at. The property manager was always very worried about that kind of stuff. People drive through the property blasting their music. She'd walk out in the middle of the road and stop the car, and they'll be like, get out of the way. They're like, I'm the property manager here. You need, first of all, slow down. You're going too fast. Second of all, turn your music down. People try to sleep. People are trying to sleep. Like, they should be up. It's like, there are people here who work third shift. You don't need to wake them up blasting your music. They're trying to make a living too. And if they don't listen to her and they speed off and go to their apartment anyway, if she'll see where they go, and then she'll hit you with a lease violation. You get too many of those and you can't live at the property anymore. So, just be respectful. That's all. But anyway, that part is very helpful when people aren't there. But this one, it was a Hispanic family, and the mother didn't speak very good English, so she had her son translate, which very common. And it's funny because if there's multiple children, usually the one who does the translating is the youngest daughter, and I learned that from retail, and it doesn't matter who it is. Like, there's been, I had some people coming in, I noticed it first with Hispanic families because we're more plentiful where I am. But then there were, because I worked in a university town, you get whole families that were Arabic, and you'd hear, and it always cracked me up because you'd hear them speaking Arabic to each other, and while they're discussing, because I worked at GameStop for so long, while they're discussing it, everybody's speaking Arabic, but there's no Arabic word for Xbox or PlayStation. And so they just suddenly, in the middle of this long discussion, Xbox, and then fire off into it again. I always found that entertaining. But it holds true across most cultures. The youngest girl is usually the translator. And I don't know why, but it's just something I've noticed. I always thought was funny. Have a nanner. Uh-oh. Have a nanner. I'm going ashore to get you more friends. I just need 2 gold pigs. There's one. Come here. I still don't need a gunpowder barrel. Is that another one? That's another one. It's right here on the beach. Yes! Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I just... The thing that makes me funny is that I think is funny. It's never a son. If there's a daughter, it's always the youngest one. What is that? There's a skull there. Come here. Cool. That should be everything I need. Yeah, for the most part, respect is gone. I will agree with you there. But, I have met I've met plenty of people that as long as you show them respect first, they'll throw plenty of it back at you. If you come at them and you're just having none of whatever they're talking about, it tends to get rough real fast. Hell, I had a lady, very recently, 2 weeks ago, maybe? 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. She got locked out of her apartment, and by that I mean, and it's different everywhere. When I worked in Alabama, doing apartment maintenance, the law there was, once, after you go through the whole, standard proceedings of going to court because you're getting evicted, they go and they make sure that it's happening lawfully. The landlord's not trying to throw you out because you disagreed with them about something, that it's for genuine reasons and all that. So, what they do that, they go through the whole normal proceedings. First, the sheriff shows up and they put a letter on the door and they let you know when your court date is, and then you go to court, and then after court, they will generally they'll grant if the it's all lawful and they are not going to pay their rent, the remaining rent they have. Usually what happens is the court grants the property possession of the apartment, and they give them so many days to move out, or the sheriff will show up and physically evict you from the premises. And so when I worked at an apartment complex in Alabama, the way it worked was, at least this was specifically for Tuscaloosa County. I don't know if it's the same in all counties or if it's state. I don't know. So, it's different all over the place. But so specifically for Tuscaloosa County, if you get evicted, the sheriff rolls up, they knock on your door, and they say, "Hey, you're being evicted." They explain what all that means to the person, and then they ask them to leave, like to step out of the apartment. They'll walk through and see if anybody else is there, and if there's not, then maintenance would physically remove all of their property from the premises. If they weren't home, the sheriff would check, and the sheriff would stand there while we physically removed everything from the premises. We stuck it in a parking space, and they had 24 hours to come collect it, or we could throw it away. Here, after the sheriff shows up, they knock on the door after all the normal stuff. They inform the resident that they need to leave the premises, that they're being formally evicted. And the property only has to give you 1 day, but they can give you up to 7. Hey! I don't want to harpoon these guys. Sweet. And because of the way all that works, the lady was evicted from her apartment. And she wasn't actually on the lease. So we never informed her, because we only inform people who are on the lease that they're being evicted, because we only have a record of people that are on the lease. You can't just let everybody, like, you can't send out a mass email to everybody you've ever met and been like, "Hey, that's it." So, unfortunately, she was unaware that it was happening. The sheriff showed up. We checked the apartment. There was nobody there. They did their walkthrough, and then we changed the locks, and that was that. Boy, was that a whole thing. She went... It wasn't, and again, it wasn't even the lady on the lease. Somebody else. She came tearing up to the apartment, to the property. She was yelling and cussing. She was on the phone with somebody, and just all in all being upset. She's like, "Y'all can't do that. You can't just throw me out of my apartment." I was like, but she storms in the office and she's yelling about all that. She's like, "Y'all can't just evict me from, you can't just throw me out. You can't just change my locks. You have to let me know that it's happening." And the leasing agent that was in the office was like, she's just like, who are you? Because she hadn't seen her before. She was somebody's sister who, again, wasn't on the lease. But she's yelling. She wouldn't even tell her where she lived. Property manager told her she needed to calm down or she had to leave. She wouldn't calm down. That made her angrier, so she kept yelling and cussing and threatening. And so then she opened the door and told her that she needed to leave the office. She didn't. Property manager goes outside to take a picture of the license plate of the car to, just have, proof that she was there and she was, being argumentative. There's also cameras and stuff, but we needed information on who this person was. And so then the woman comes tearing out of the office and just, like, attacks the property manager, starts, throwing her hands at her and hitting her. And luckily, the whole maintenance team, we were over at the... we were over in front of the shop just cleaning our golf carts. They were supposed to have an open house that day, and they did not. Or they're supposed to have an open house the next day, so we were cleaning off our golf carts because they were like, we have to use all the carts so we can drive people around and show them apartments. And we're like, well, that's kind of dumb, but okay. So we went, we did that. We're standing there cleaning them off, and we see that happen. So I just start running. I throw myself between the property manager and this woman who is very upset. She ended up hanging around. The whole altercation felt like it lasted 25 minutes. But it lasted a grand total of 5. She ended up coming outside and yelling at me that she was bound and determined to harm the property manager. She even at one point walked over to her trunk and said, I've got something for y'all, and picked up, and she opened the trunk, and I was like, she's gonna shoot us. Thankfully, that was not the case. She pulled out a tire iron. Which is not super great, but that's what happened. Do I still have the storage crate? I moved it. So it was a very interesting time. The police were gonna escort her off the property, but that didn't end up happening. She ended up tearing off as soon as she heard the sirens. She did almost attack me with a tire iron. She didn't, because she wasn't in the apartment. Like we told her, you know, she can't come back to the property. Her sister could collect things, and I don't know that her sister ever showed back up to get them. I don't know, because I wasn't involved very far past that. But it was definitely a very interesting day. We ended up not doing any work because they were afraid that she was going to come back and try to hurt somebody, so they kept us in the office. And I was like, well, it's fine by me. I can just hang out in here and keep an eye on everybody and make sure everything's fine. Sweet. Let's go rep. I want to see. Come on, load up Emissary Ledger. It was crazy. It was. I've seen some stuff like that happen, but because she was just rolled up and she was wailing on the property manager. The property manager started, you know, fighting her back. It wasn't like full blown, you know, like throwing bows or anything like that. It's just, you know, she was just swatting back at her. It was just. Are you kidding me? It was just a crazy day. Oh, you know what? I don't need to do that. I forgot. I'm so used to setting the ship on fire at the end of the stream and sinking it, but it's my boat, and if I do that, then it's no good. I also want to, you know, see. Let's see. Let me check the captain's log. Interesting. My logbook says I've done nothing. I have sailed 0 days. I have made no money. Oh, there it is. Current voyage. I've earned 95,000 gold today. Completed 6 quests. Alright, that's going to wrap the stream up for the evening. I want to thank y'all for dropping by and checking it out. I'm live again in Sea of Thieves on Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you drop by and check it out. I don't know if I'm going to have anybody else with me again. I may be sailing solo on... Ooh, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do this. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Get the Schoon Hound in the picture. Oof. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, let's try again. So, that ends the stream for the evening. I'll be live again Sunday from 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, doing more Sea of Thieves. And then I'm live again Monday. I'm live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as well. But Monday and Wednesday are a different game, and Sea of Thieves is always Friday and Sunday. Well, thanks for the follow, Hunter. I do also have, just so you know, I do also have a YouTube channel. It's all it is just archive streams. I do have some playlists that are shorts that I've cut up a little bit. So that way, if you want to see some like clips of the fun stuff, that's all there on YouTube. I do also have a Discord. The Discord, I post announcements there if I'm not going to be streaming because of something. Because like next week I'm on call. If I'm not going to be streaming because I catch a call, I'll post it there. I do also have, it's just a place you can hang out and chit chat with me and my friends and you know, other members of my community. So if you're interested, check that out. All the links should be on my Twitch channel. Yeah, but that's it. Thanks so much for dropping by and checking it out, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your night.